Welcome to the Black Sparrow Media Internet Broadcast Network.
You are listening to Linux in the Ham Shack. LHS is a podcast about Linux, open source, and amateur radio for everyone. Now here are your hosts, Cheryl, W5MOO, and Bill, NE4RD.
Hello, and welcome back, everyone. This is episode 616 of Linux in the Ham Shack, the most terrific amateur radio podcast on the internet. This week, we're telling you about what we've been up to, along with taking a jaunt through some short topics in the world of amateur radio, Linux, and open source. But before we get to that, we should let you know who we are. For our silent key Russ, K5TUX, I'm Cheryl, W5MOO.
And I'm Bill, NE4RD. Yes, welcome back, everyone. We're getting all ready for making the big jaunt to Xenia, Ohio, real soon here. But before we start talking about that, let's see what we did this week. I know Cheryl has a big list here. This is my list is unfilled out because it's just been doing the boring stuff, which I'll be happy to share with everybody. But Cheryl, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you've been up to this week?
My week obviously has been busy trying to get stuff done for Hamvention. Whether it's getting stuff ready to go in the car to go to Hamvention or getting stuff done around the house before I leave so I don't come home to a mess or a pile of things to do once I get home. But regarding food this week, lots of nights realizing it was 10 p.m. or midnight or whatever, and I didn't have any dinner plans because I'd been busy all evening. So not a lot has happened in that regard except for throwing something quick together. One night this week, I did remember that Russ mentioned a few days before Christmas that he wanted me to make my BLTs, which was only one of two sandwiches Russ would eat. Weirdo. Well, the other one was a grilled cheese. So mine were always a little different because I used a roasted garlic aioli for my mayo, and I always put a cooked egg on it. His egg always had a runny yolk, which is absolutely disgusting. Whatever. Mine was always fried hard, so I made that for dinner last night. And since today is Mother's Day, I decided to treat myself to a steak with baked potato and some roasted garlic, which I'm going to eat after we're done recording. The potatoes currently in the oven now. Because of getting ready for Hamvention stuff, and other things, I've not spent much time at the computer. I've paid some bills and worked on adding topics for tonight's show. So, radio, again, another week of not going into Russ's office. Honestly, I think I'm avoiding it for obvious reasons, and I have been super busy. I'm still scared to turn on the radio. It's more than likely mic fright, and the fact that I'm truly clueless on how to operate them. Bill's been swamped trying to get ready for Hamvention and Jamboree this year, so I have not been bugging him for help, and nor have I honestly had time. So maybe this fall I'll get around to touching the radios. And other than that, I've had a ton of things to cross on my Hamvention list, and I've only got 4, I think, left, and they're kind of last-minute packing things. Like, for instance, I'm a type 1 diabetic. My insulin needs to stay refrigerated until I get ready to leave. So I'll be grabbing stuff Wednesday night and Thursday morning right before I go out the door. So I'm giving myself my own little gold star on this one. Originally, I'd planned on leaving for Dayton on Wednesday, since it's over a 9-hour drive from here, and I have spinal stenosis, which can make driving a challenge sometimes, especially ones that are long. But I've been reminding myself I can do this. I've done it before, I'll do it again. So, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, whether your kids have 2 or 4 legs. And that's it for my week.
Yeah, I should have said that. Yeah, happy Mother's Day, even though you got little fur babies. They still need a good mom to take care of them because they are wild little ones for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I already got that. Cool. Excellent. My time this past week has been doing mainly all prep for Hamvention as well. I don't think I did anything fun food wise. I would like to say that I did, but I mean, probably not. I have been messing around with the getting the thumb drives all set up, and I did get a comprehensive selection of stuff put on the thumb drive for our final push. So currently on the thumb drive, there is Arc OS, which is that amateur radio computer OS that kind of live boots and has all the stuff in it that we reviewed not too long ago, before Christmas. And I have Dragon OS. I believe it's still the Noble version. I put on the latest release of Ubuntu, just the standard one. Latest release of Fedora 44 is on there. CachyOS ISO is on there. And Omarchi ISO is on there. Of course, all of them will require updating and everything else, but they're just kind of just there to play with. The Omarchi one does not have a live kind of running ISO. It's literally just an installer, so be careful with that one. That one you'll probably not want to boot up and run on your computer unless you want to wipe it. But I did run through all of the thumb drives that I have here, which I believe I have 50 in total. So I have 50 drives that are good. They have all been validated. I only had one bad one out of the whole batch, which is really cool.
Nice.
I was really expecting I would have more, but no, these all worked out really well. So all the ISOs are on there. They're already mastered. They're already on the drive. So all the drives are ready to go. We don't have to do any replicating while we're there unless you bring your own drive. Our drive is a 32 gigabit drive. So you'll just want to bring something that's that size or bigger if you just want a quick copy of those ISO images while we have it at the booth. I've also done laundry. I washed all the table covers for both the K2BSA booth and the LHS podcast booth.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so that's all been washed and dried and folded okay-ish.
So like I fold a fitted sheet, I just wad it up in a ball.
Yeah, I mean, most of them fold up fine. It's just the one that has that's made for the table that has the layover thing.
Right, yeah.
Doesn't really fold right. And I already gotten it to the point I was like, okay, well, it's just going to be folded like this.
Yeah.
So, radio wise, I've just been playing with the distributions. I was kind of going through each one to see which one I would settle on having on the computer that I'll have hooked up to the screen. And I think I'm just gonna have Dragon OS. Kind of decided that it had the most stuff on it already that was already working. In fact, it was the only one that it didn't have some kind of weirdness. I know last episode we talked a little bit about the Fedora 44 in our Weekender, and yeah, I was I don't know if it's my rig that's having some of the weird problems that's sort of giving me some of the headaches. But when I put Dragon OS on there, everything worked just fine. So maybe not, perhaps. I don't know. So for now, I'm just going to do that. We'll have to revisit all those, including CachyOS. I installed CachyOS, and yeah, I couldn't compile the latest version of WSJTX, and so I kind of just walked away from that. It seemed to have some weird compiler error, and I wasn't going to go down the rabbit hole to try to figure that out. So I quickly walked away from that and just settled on something that is known working. And since we'll definitely have an SDR at the booth just to kind of play around with, have some pretty colors and stuff like that going, I figure that would probably the best way to do that is to have something that's pretty SDR focused, but yet has a whole bunch of other applications on it and stuff like that. Other than that, yeah, the usual volunteering every spare hour I have doing stuff at the theater and doing stuff with my wife. She's running for state representative in the state House of Representatives or whatever for Montana. So I'm the treasurer, so I have to do all the filings and everything else. So yeah, I've been busy doing that and attending events with her to help support her in that effort. So yeah, just lots of stuff going on here. But enough about us. Let's get into these topics, and I will start first. And hey, we've already been talking about this. Hamvention is here. That's right. Are you ready for an adventure? If you haven't heard, each year, Hamvention invites the amateur radio community to come together in a celebration of innovation, friendship, and limitless spirit of radio. Yes, this comes from their website. For 2026, we are proud to announce that our new theme is Radio Adventure. So yes, we are on an adventure to go to Hamvention. It's always been about exploration of ideas, technologies, distances, possibilities, from the earliest spark gap pioneers to today's digital experimenters, satellite ops and contesters, emergency communicators, and outdoor enthusiasts. Amateur radio continues to be a gateway to discovery. So I suggest you go check out the Hamvention website. And on there, they have the forums now, so you can go in and see the forum schedule. And it's nice to see there's some really interesting forums in there. There is the Linux one that Andy's Ham Radio Linux is doing. And guess what? He is not at 9:15 in the morning this time. He got
Nice.
a time slot this time, and I'm looking for it. It's I know it's here. Linux. There it is. He is room 2 on Friday at 3 p.m. So Andy's Ham Radio Linux, he will be there. I will say that we will not have Andy's Ham Radio Linux on the drive because he does not provide an ISO image. He only provides scripts to basically build on top of an existing installation like Ubuntu and stuff like that. So it just didn't seem right to put it on a bootable drive that's really meant to boot other ISOs. So yeah, he's not on our disk, but you can quickly and rapidly grab that stuff from SourceForge and implement it on your system. And who knows, we may put one of the Ubuntu 2604 to the test and install that on there and have that at the booth. So we'll see. I have an idea for the second computer, and we may either use one of Cheryl's, her little test box she's bringing, or I might just have a second one specifically for that particular place there. Other cool ones, Dan KB6NU is doing his teaching a one-day tech class. So, and that is on Sunday. So that'll also give you a reason to come to Hamvention on Sunday for those of you that don't participate on that day. At 10:25 a.m. in room 3, Dan KB6NU is teaching a one-day tech class. And let's see. He'll address why it's better to teach a one-day class instead of a traditional multi-session class, where you can hold the class, publicize in class, possible fees, timing, teaching techniques, and student follow-up. So he'll teach you how to teach a class. So, and that's really cool. But yeah, there's a ton of other good forums. I know we never get to see any of them. So I hope you guys that are making it out that way, and gals, check out the forums. There's a lot of good topics going on in there, including, ham size there. The POTA people are going to be talking. Hackers and Amateur Radio is going to be there. Ed will be in that talk, N2XDD. So good forums all around this year, and looks like good times for those forums. And this came in from, late breaking news that there's a tease for a new Icom X026. Apparently they have a reel that's been making waves, I tell you, in the socials. So if you haven't seen this yet, it's out there. And as you probably know, like Icom generally releases all their stuff at the Tokyo Ham Fair. So since we didn't see this there, I'm assuming that this is sort of really conceptual and not a product probably until next year when it would be officially released at the Ham Fair in Tokyo. So that's something to think about. It kind of looks like it's going to be a replacement for the IC7100, just based upon the quick show of the screen and configuration of a mobile rig with a detachable face. And they clearly put 2 antennas on the vehicle, one rather large antenna and one rather small antenna. So we're going to guess that that's not a 2-meter antenna and a 440 completely separate, because who does that anymore? So Hamvention looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be pretty close to ICOM, so we'll be able to kind of peek across the aisle over there and see that. So hopefully we'll see you at Hamvention. And Cheryl,
Yes,
take the
definitely.
next one.
Okay, so the next story, and this was actually released in January, but because of things going on here, I completely missed it and stumbled across it earlier today. So the story is amateur radio operators in Belarus arrested and face the death penalty. And the story reads, the Belarusian government is threatening 3 ham radio operators with the death penalty, detained at least 7 people, and has accused them of intercepting state secrets, quote unquote. The detentions were announced last week on Belarusian state TV, which claimed the men were part of a network of more than 50 people participating in the amateur radio hobby and have been accused of both espionage and treason. Authorities said they had seized more than 500 pieces of radio equipment. The men were accused on state TV of using radio to spy on the movement of government planes, though no actual evidence of this has been produced. State TV claimed they were associated with the Belarusian Federation of Radio Amateurs and Radio Sportsmen, otherwise known as the BFRR, a long-running amateur radio club and nonprofit that holds amateur radio competitions, meetups, trainings, and forums. Most hams operate amateur radios for fun, as part of competitions, or to keep in touch with other hams around the world. But the hobby has a long history of being attacked by governments, in part because it's resistant to censorship. Amateur radio often works even if natural disaster or political action takes down internet, cell, and phone services, so it is popular among people interested in search and rescue and doomsday prepping. Amateur radio has been used to share information out of Cuba, for example, and in 2021, the Cuban government jammed ham radio frequencies during anti-government protests there. And this story came from 404 Media. So, I guess in a way, we should be thankful that there's not a whole lot of that going on here. Hopefully never does. So, yeah.
And I see Steve in the chat room just posted a post from the IARU Region 1 clarifying with clarification regarding recent legal proceedings in Belarus. This is dated January 27th, so just a wee bit old, but they said, let's see, they have a 4-point response here. Point 1 is the scope of amateur radio. Amateur radio is a technical, education, and service-oriented hobby defined internationally by the ITU. Its purposes is self-training, intercommunications, and technical investigation carried out by amateurs. Let's see, the accountability in law. While individuals are involved in this case hold amateur radio licenses, our investigation indicates that actions leading to their prosecution fall entirely outside of the scope of the amateur radio service.
Interesting.
Yeah. So distinguishing the hobby from action. We believe the public narrative surrounding this case has been somewhat misplaced. The core issue is not the practice of amateur radio itself, but rather the failure to comply with specific national laws. Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me too. So I'm not sure. Maybe some early reports were like less clear and less, less disambiguous or something like that. Yeah. Let's see. Our position, IRU Region 1, does not condone or support any actions by licensed operators by bypass legal requirements or violate terms of their amateur radio license. So we'll go ahead and post this little follow-up too in the show notes, so you guys can have that link as well. I'm just waiting for the linker to link it in. We do this live. I don't come back later and write all this stuff in. Or just gonna put this in here. IARU respond. There you go. In the notes. So
cool.
Enjoy that. Well, there's not a lot of amateur radio stuff going on in the news department. I mean, there is, but nothing that really perked up to our standards. Of news following.
Well, there really isn't a whole lot, specifically.
There's a lot of stuff surrounding Hamvention right now, because that's sort of the thing that's coming up, and I'm getting emails about other things. Are you coming to this Hamvention? Or this a ham activity and this place? It's like, no.
Well, and I found lots of stuff mentioning Field Day, and I'm like, well, we still got like over a month, so we'll hold off on that. So, it's about different clubs and their field day exercises and things like that. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Field day's coming. We know that.
Yeah.
It's in the end of June. Always is.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us on to our open source and Linux topics. So the first one here is from Phoronix, and this is the Debian release team. Debian must now ship reproducible packages. Okay, so the Debian release team has announced that Debian must ship reproducible packages. Debian has made much progress this past few years via the reproducible builds effort for ensuring independent users can reproduce the same package builds, binaries, bit for bit. Independently verifiable path from source to binary has become increasingly important for security concerns and validating the authenticity of packages. Moving forward, Debian must ship reproducible packages, and thus Debian 14 will be the first major release coming up via this new mandate. Debian's migration software will now block the migration of new packages that can't be reproduced or existing packages that regress reproducibility. Yeah, so I wonder if this is going to affect like third-party things, like things that aren't necessarily controlled by them. If they're going to like sort of create a gatekeeper in the middle and like apt or something like that. I haven't read into this in much detail, but this kind of seems that they're putting like sort of a line that one shall not cross. And perhaps at some point we'll see deb packages possibly getting restricted based upon their verification source. So this seems kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's the reason why I put it in there. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I think that's something we're probably going to have to revisit and kind of keep an eye on moving forward to see how that's going to impact not only Debian, but obviously everything that feeds off of Debian.
Right.
Yeah, it's very possible. Yeah, you can put a browser extension in your browser and it strips all your passwords out and stuff like that. Yeah, there's just so many things that you can do because of not really paying attention to the security concerns, but also doing things that you would think, oh, this isn't really a security issue, or installing something that doesn't have a validated package source or a software library, meaning that it brings an NPM package that has been taken over by malware because it's importing randomly from either a GitHub site or a private GitHub site, or perhaps a PPA at some point too. Bring back the death to the PPAs in Ubuntu message that a lot of people like to talk about because they're a little bit dangerous in security as well. So yeah, this is definitely something to keep an eye on moving forward and seeing how this impacts apt and depackage and stuff like that.
Yeah, we definitely need to kind of keep an eye on this, I guess. So, and I'm sure there'll be more information that floats through, as time goes on. So
sounds good. So now why don't you tell us about some software apps that perhaps are fall into this category of
maybe
non-reproducible packages. We'll see.
So every week, How to Geek will post different Linux applications or distros or whatever that they think you should spend the weekend trying out. So I decided I saw the ones that they suggested this week, and I thought, well, okay, those seem kind of cool. So the title of this next one is 3 life-improving Linux apps to try. So we'll see what you guys think about that. The first one they mentioned was Vacuum Tube. And it says the Vacuum Tube is for YouTube's smart TV and console interface, packaged as a proper desktop app. Just install the app, use the QR code to seamlessly log into your account, and you've got instant access to your subscriptions, playlists, watch history, and more. With full controller and gamepad support, along with mouse and keyboard to navigate the interface. Some features it includes is Censor Block, which skips sponsor segments and YouTube videos using a crowdsourced database. D-Arrow replaces clickbaity, thumbnails and titles with more accurate, less sensationalized versions. Return Dislike uses the Return YouTube Dislike API to show a rough estimate of the dislike count on a YouTube video. Hide shorts, removes shorts from your YouTube experience. And force H.264, which is forcing YouTube to stream videos only in H.264 codec, which can help improve performance on lower powered machines. And you can actually grab the YouTube as a flat pack from FlatHub. The next one is Quick Emu. And it says, trying out a new Linux distro usually involves a bunch of steps. Find the ISO, download it, verify the checksum, set up a VM in VirtualBox or QEMU, and figure out the right amount of RAM and CPU cores to allocate. Quick Emu collapses that into two commands. The first is Quick Get, which takes an OS name and downloads the right ISO for you, then creates a config file for the VM. The second is Quick Emu, which reads the config, figures out the best settings for your hardware, and launches the VM. That's generally it for the basic workflow. That said, if you dislike working through the terminal, there's also a Flutter-based graphical interface to help you download and run all the supported operating systems. A huge collection of distros are supported, including other proprietary operating systems like Windows 10 and 11 with TPM 2.0 support, Windows Server, and Mac OS. There's also support for BSDs and some more obscure systems like Haiku, ReactOS, and FreeDOS. New VMs created using Quick Emu get around 10 to 30 gigs of storage space, but you can expand the storage by heading into the VMs folder, opening the terminal there, and entering the following command. QEMU-img resize disk.qcow2 space plus 20 gig, or 20G, excuse me. And that will add 20 gigabytes of extra disk space, for example. And Quick Emu is available in the official repos of most distros. And the last one is Word Grinder. It's a terminal-based word processor. It's terminal user interface replacement for Microsoft Word and LibreOffice. It can read any file saved in an open document format, as well as HTML, Markdown, and plain text files. It also supports as a native WG file format, which functions like a container for your documents. It lets you store multiple documents in a single file, which is a great way to organize your documents based on a project. It's not as powerful as a fully featured graphical app, but it's designed to give you a minimal distraction-free writing experience so you can focus on your work, while at the same time giving you the flexibility to work with actual document formats instead of simple text files. By default, you get a blank interface with just your text and status line at the bottom, showing the file name and word count. You get access to basic text editing through standard keyboard shortcuts like Control-B for bold, Control-I for italics, Control-U for underline. You get it. For everything else, you can hit the escape key to open the main menu. From there, you'll find options to help you manage, edit, and stylize your files. Just open the terminal, type Word Grinder, and your document editor is up and running. And it's available in the official repos of most distros. So, and again, the story came from How To Geek, and the link is in the show notes. So,
yeah, that sounds interesting. The vacuum tube one seems somewhat nefarious.
Questionable.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see that as probably a violation of the terms of service of YouTube and stuff like that. But most of those apps are that do weird stuff to YouTube and kind of use some of the back end items from YouTube, much like I believe we've talked about FreeTube on here before, and yes, that is
same type of situation,
Yeah, it's definitely in that family of stuff that's like, I don't know. Anyway, well, that gets us out of the Linux and open source, but now that brings us down to our Linux and the Ham Shack topics, and I will cover the first one here. First one came via an email from Munir, K6AQ, who's been on the show here before. And it was on the ARDC email list that this came out, and I saw it posted other places later on. But yeah, FreeDV 2.3.0 is released. Earlier today, we released FreeDV 2.3.0, a major milestone in our ARDC-funded work on RAID, which is the premier digital voice mode in use in the FreeDV software today. We accomplished several big things as part of this release. One, the dependency of the Python has been removed. RAID is now 100% written in the C programming language. Why didn't they just go with Rust? Come on, everybody else is using Rust. This allowed us to significantly improve the performance of the FreeDV application and reduce the required footprint. For one thing, there's no longer any need to download hundreds of megabytes of files to enable RAID to function. Well, that's always a good thing. Number two. Yeah. Additionally, porting RAID to C allows the use in areas other than the official FreeDV application, which brings us to today's release. We've also come out with a way to effectively build FreeDV into the Flex Radio 8000 and Aurora series radios. This alone is a significant part of our ARDC grant, as it gets us significantly closer to being included in a large install base of radios. Example, no need to download and install a separate application on a PC. So basically it'd be like a plug-in for your Power SDR or whatever they call it over there. I wonder if Aether SDR is going to plop this in as well. For more information on the 2.30 release, you can be found at the blog, which we have linked in the show notes, along with information on the Flex Radio integration more specifically, also linked in the show notes. Let me know if you have any questions, and definitely feel free to tell all of your friends. Thanks, from Moonier. And yeah, that sounds kind of interesting. I haven't messed with FreeDV in a while, so I'll probably go and take a look at the new app. Hopefully the standalone app is all fresh and shiny. New. So awesome. Why don't you take the next one?
Alrighty then. So our next story is Rhizomatica releases Mercury. Rhizomatica is pleased to officially launch Mercury, a completely open source digital radio OFDM protocol for HF broadcast, wow, and peer-to-peer ARQ communications with compatible TCP interfaces, built for reliable store and format email and file transfer over HF radio links. Store and forward email and file transfer over HF radio links. Mercury is the newest element of the Hermes software suite, actively developed by Rhizomatica since 2017, with generous funding from ARDC and others. Mercury is written in C, released under the GPL 3.0 license, and features a modular architecture with per-direction mode selection, hybrid SNR and delivery feedback-based gear shifting, split control, data channel design, and uses field-proven FreeDV digital data modes, with each mode kept resident in a pool, eliminating codec reinitialization overhead. Pre-built binaries are available for Windows and Debian operating systems, and Mercury is suitable for use with most HF transceivers and completely compliant for amateur use. In early tests, compared to the commercial alternative, Mercury has performed well and is nearly at parity in optimal SNR connections and outperforms the alternative and poor SNR connections. Quote, not only has Rhizomatica developed a fully open source software modem, they have done so to empower communities in need of their own communication infrastructure. We are proud to have supported Rhizomatica in this work and very excited to see it now available to the amateur community and others around the world using HF for critical communication, end quote. That came from Rosie Schnechter, KJ7RYV, which is the executive director of the ARDC. And this information came from Amateur Radio Daily.
Yeah. So I'm assuming it's all related as well to the upgrade of FreeDV. I'm surprised I didn't see one from the other, but they are two different, obviously, groups working on ARDC funded projects. And our last one that we had in here is one I also did see on my GitHub search, but then I noticed it was also an Amateur Radio Daily. So I'm pretty certain I saw it in the GitHub first, so I just linked in the GitHub, but know that it was also mentioned in the Amateur Radio Daily. And this is Graywolf. And Graywolf is a complete APRS station that replaces a hardware TNC with a software modem. Plug a radio into a USB sound card, install Graywolf, and configure everything from your browser. No external sound card required. No external sound card software, no config files to hand edit, just a single binary and a web UI, because we want everything to be an Electron. What you can do with this Graywolf here, you can run a digipeater. You can set up a fill-in or wide area digipeater with a wide end path, handling duplicate suppression and cross-channel routing. Configurable rules will let you control exactly what gets repeated. You can run an iGate. You can bridge your local RF network to APRS IS, receive only or bidirectional gate RF packets to the internet, and deliver APRS messages from the internet back to RF. You can beacon your position. You can do fixed station beacons, GPS-driven mobile trackers with smart beacon rate adaptation, APRS objects for repeaters or events, and custom status beacons. You can serve as a TNC. You can expose KISS, AG, WPE interfaces, so other packet software like Zaster and YAAC, Pinpoint, APRX, APRS Droid can use Graywolf as their modem over TCP, serial, or a Bluetooth. Or you can combine everything. You can run a digipeater, an iGate, a position beacon, and a KISS server all at once on the same radio channel, or spread them across multiple channels and radios. This looks like a pretty interesting project, even though it is another node project. So, your mileage may vary. Always take a look at the NPM audit and see how many packages are in trouble out there. So, and the link to that is in the show notes. So I believe we're finally into announcements and feedback.
Yep, we are. So, and I'm going to run with all of this since this is all my babbling. So, first thing out, come see us at Hamvention. We are literally counting down the minutes at this point. This next weekend, May 15th through the 17th, booth 2206, Greene County Fairgrounds in Xenia, Ohio. You'll find us in Building E2, otherwise known as Tesla Hall. We're directly across from Flex Radio and Macaulay Keys in the big walkway between the two garage doors. So it's going to be nice and cool. Just looked at the weather. That may not be a good thing because it looks like it's going to be a little chilly there. We'll be there. Yeah. Like 70 degrees on Friday. I was like, ooh, that wind. Ooh, that could be bad. So we'll be there from 9 to 5 on Friday and Saturday. And since we both have long drives ahead of us on Sunday, we'll get there around 9 and probably be out of there by 10:30 or 11. So make sure if you're waiting to visit us on Sunday, you get there early. So next thing about Hamvention, you can join us for dinner. We'd love to have you. But we need your RSVP immediately via the event links on Facebook or by emailing LHS or info@lhspodcast.info. We need this information no later than Wednesday because we'll both be driving on Thursday. That's the 13th. So make sure you get that information to us so we can get our reservations finalized. There are already a handful of people joining us, so we would love to have more. On Friday, we are going to BJ's Brew House. It's about 10 miles from Hamvention. 6 p.m.-ish. Menu's fairly diverse, pizza, pasta, etc. Lots of beer. And there are some gluten-free and vegan choices there for those that need that. And then on Saturday, we're going to Chewy's Tex-Mex. Same area, Fairfield Commons in Beaver Creek, Ohio. Again, 6 p.m. We both love Mexican food, so we figured it was like a no-brainer. So, and there are gluten-free and vegan possibles options there as well. So again, there's information in the show notes about the link to Facebook to let us know. And again, otherwise, info@lhspodcast.info. Fire us off an email and let us know you're joining us or not. So, moving right along. We need you to support the show, obviously. We need help keeping the lights on. So, we've got our costs, obviously. We don't have sponsors. So, if you want to help us out, you can do that via Patreon, PayPal, buying some merch, and helping us cover our bills makes us all warm and fuzzy inside. So, thanks a lot.
Drives, right?
Oh yeah, we also have thumb drives. Yeah, if you come to Hamvention, we've got thumb drives.
How much are those?
$10.
Sounds good. $10.
So
We're going to have stickers too. Those are $2. So if you want some stickers, you want to buy more, please do.
Yep. So we got all kinds of cool stuff, and the stickers go really nice on a laptop.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying. Yeah. So, and as always, this will always be in our announcements thing. We need topics. We need episodes, weekender episode ideas. Anything goes for that one. And we need deep dive or whatever we end up naming that chapter episodes. So just let us know. info@lhspodcast.info. Give us some ideas. So we can always use that help. So, and hopefully this is the last time I say anything about this, but we have a repeater for sale. We have the repeater that Russ had set up for the AF0SS club that we have taken offline because of Russ's death. I don't have the knowledge or the energy to run that. So it's going to be loaded in the vehicle in a day or two, and it's headed to Hamvention. So if you're at Hamvention and you want the repeater, come talk to us. I bet somebody helped carry it out to your car. And if for some reason you don't have, you're not going to make it to Hamvention, but you still want it, let us know. And either I can meet up with you somewhere or Bill can meet up with you somewhere. Just speak out. Let us know. So, and last thing, and final thing, is there will be a memorial service at our home for Russ and I on November 1st. Everyone is welcome. If you'd like to join us, send an email to info@lhspodcast.info. We'll send you more details about it. Or there is a Facebook page, and that information will also be in the show notes. You can check everything out there. So
awesome. And we got quite a bit of feedback this week. 2 short ones and a long one here. So I'll just go pile through them real quick. We had an email from JL1AYH, and he says, or they say, I don't know. Hi, LHS team. I have not done a search on whether you mentioned OpenWebRX Plus already. If not, then it might be a great candidate. Thanks for the podcast. I don't think we've specifically talked about it except for basically just using it as an option through the, receiver book and stuff like that, where it's all linked in through there. But setting up your own, no, we haven't really walked through that before, and I've played with it, but I haven't fully committed to making a setup for it. But I will take a look at that, and maybe we'll work it into the schedule forthcoming. I had another quick email here from Klaus Neeson, AE0S. He's with the Amateur Radio Society Award Committee member. And he wanted to let us know that we would like to announce that the 2026 recipients of the Amateur Radio Software Award, which goes to Nate Bargmann, N0NB, George Baltz, N3GB, Daniele Forsi, IU5HKX, and Mikael Nousiainen, I'm sure that's wrong, OH3BHX, for their work on Hamlib. Because Hamlib is used everywhere in, at least in Linux for sure, and attached to many of the applications that we use, like WSJTX and others. Attached is the press release for the award. Okay, well, obviously it's not attached here, but we are definitely mentioning it here, and I believe that gets awarded at Hamvention, if I remember correctly. So congratulations to those people and their fine work on Hamlib. And finally, we had a Discord post from Victoria, K8VSY, and they let us know that if anyone is using Wavelog, there's been a new release, and it's an important security update. This release fixes a critical vulnerability affecting all existing Wavelog installations from version 1.8 onward. Wow, that's a lot. While we have no indication of exploitation in the wild, the risk profile changes once this fix is public, and we recommend updating to 2.4.2 promptly. And I have updated all of mine, so got updated. They've also released with this a new version of Wavelog Gate. So check that out if you use that along with your Wavelog, which of course you should, because that's how you connect your rig up to it. Let's see, some of the other features in this particular release. They added a lightweight search page for QRZ.com embedded. They added a user agent for JWKS request in SSO implementation, so that's single sign-on. Added the ability to skip to the first login wizard for club station members on the first login. They fixed a logout redirect when single sign-on is enabled. Fixed a bug where band plan saved adjusted by instance owner wasn't correctly processed for the user. They added an automatic DXCC lookup at first login wizard. Let's see, QRS delivery methods, blah, 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 op field label. Yeah, a bunch of little things here that you may or may not have run into. Made last LOTW upload check a bit more specific, so that's good too, so it doesn't overlap queries and stuff like that. And also added links to the EQSLCC and club log for call book search results. So check that out. Make sure you update your version of Wavelog, primarily just for the security update, but obviously you're going to get these extra features and bug fixes along with it. So that is all of our feedback. Thank you very much for sending us either an email or notes in the Discord. We highly appreciate any feedback or interaction that we can share with everybody else in this podcast. So now let's get us down to subscribers and supporters. And we had a new paid, well, not a new paid Patreon, but we had a paid Patreon come in. Patrick Ng came in. No free Patreons. On PayPal, we had John Strunk came in. On Facebook, we had Ray and Babasa, Megan Luna Puppy. Nobody on Instagram. Which we don't really know, right? Still
working on that one.
Still working on that one. That was, whatever. On X, we had an MD and a bunch of numbers. So not sure if it's a bot account or whatever, but hey, welcome to us on Weapon X. Nobody new on Mastodon. On Discord, we had A Monty join us, SM0MMC join us, and Gray joined us. On our live show participants, we had Steve, KJ5T. We had Adam, K3CAN, was in and out. Gray also popped in a couple of times. And Don, KB2YSI. And then Joel joined us here at the very end. And Joel, I know your call sign and name, and that's properly updated in the podcast. Oh, he's going to type it right now. So that's it. Oh, it's like KC0YEW. Yeah, for some reason I was like, I can't remember it off of the top of my head. Thanks for joining in here at the usual late time. We tried. We tried being on time, but we kind of just gabbed for the first 20 some odd minutes. And so that wraps up everything from my end. Cheryl, do you have anything else to add?
No, I don't think so. I'm waiting to see everybody at Hamvention. So
yeah, me too. It's gonna be fun to see everyone. And yes, it will be weird to not have Russ with us, but I hope you're okay with just me and Cheryl being there. So we'll do our best. We'll do our best to hold things, hold a tight ship while we're there and stuff like that. So.
Sure. It's not happened before. It's not going to happen again. Although I do have 2 boxes of Kleenex now, so I think I'm prepared.
Yeah, and I will say that the K2BSA volunteers have been a little sparse. So
they're always kind of sparse.
I'm kind of concerned on Saturday, but some people said, "Hey, I'm going to try," and I'm like, "Well, that's great because we're going to need some people trying to cover the booth on Saturday." The other days, Friday looks pretty well covered, and Sunday is covered enough for a Sunday, so no big deal there. But Saturday we're kind of light on it. So if you happen to be in K2BSA or interested in radio scouting and want to volunteer some time at that booth to talk about radio scouting in general, please just let me know and swing by the booth. And I would welcome any and all supporters of that activity. Yeah,
whether it's 15 minutes or 5 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll
5
take
hours
anything,
preferably, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Cheryl, why don't you get us on out of here?
All righty then. So that brings us down to the end of the show. Thank you so much for listening to episode 616. We will catch you next time with our Hamvention wrap-up. For Russ, K5TX, I'm Cheryl, W5MOO.
And I'm Bill, NE4RD 73.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Linux in the Ham Shack. LHS is a community-sponsored podcast. Live recordings are Sunday nights at 8 o'clock Central Time. Our homepage can be found at lhspodcast.info. You can support the podcast via Patreon at patreon.com/LHS podcast. We're also on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and Mastodon. Contact us via email at info@lhspodcast.info or via voicemail at 190954777469. That's 1909 LHS show. We also have merch. So until next we meet, remember to always heed your hedonism.